So, Rich, you have a new cookbook. I just read it. I'm so excited about it. Congratulations. And what I love about it is we both have cookbooks that are basically based on TV and pop culture. So tell me what inspired yours.
Yeah, thank you. I so initially I had put out a cookbook a few years back called the Horror Night Movie Night Cookbook, and that was sort of inspired by the my friends didn't love horror and they thought it was stupid, and I thought, you know what, it's my genre, I love it, and so I'm going to introduce them to the good horror movies. And so I had my own movie nights, and so that's how the book developed. I did these all of these myself. We watched the movies. We had appetizers, dinners, desserts, drinks with every round. Um, and so after that book was so successful, I thought, well, I should keep this going. What genre should I do next? And a lot of people that loved the book, the first book, told me, we really love all these ideas and your recipes are great, but we don't love horror. Can you do something else? So can you do chick flicks? And I thought, well, that's not a genre that I've always loved. So why not challenge myself? Why not go out there and try to find the best ones and see what all the fuss is about? And it really, you know, my book is called The Ultimate Chick Flick Cookbook. And I do think that it has changed my idea of what a good chick flick is. So, so that's sort of how this one came to be, sort of piggybacked off of my first one.
Nice. And how did you decide which ones to use? I mean, you have When Harry Met Sally, The Notebook, Clueless, Bridget Jones' Diary, just to name a few. So how did you come up with which movies to use and then which recipes to use for each movie?
I chose the movies. I watched so many movies, and I just chose the ones that I thought were the best, the ones that had some cultural significance, the ones that people have loved for a very long time, and the ones that may have changed the genre a little bit. Like with Clueless, it's sort of in the 90s, the teen comedy was almost dead at that point, and after the Brat Pack of the 80s. And then Clueless comes along and it completely reimagines what a romantic comedy, teen comedy can be. So so I tried to find the movies that had some sort of significance, and also ones that I just personally love that maybe other people might not have seen, like Three to Tango or something like that. But and then there were, on the short list of this book, there were maybe 20, 30 more movies that didn't quite have any sort of significant food element tied into them. And so I just narrowed it down even further by picking the movies that I thought had, a nice scene that involved food, or something funny that involved food, something that would bring the audience into the movie if they were to recreate that one specific meal. So like Bridget Jones, I did the blue soup, where she's trying to make the soup for him on their little date, and she forgets to untie the string, and so the soup turns blue. I did that, but not toxic. I found a way to do the blue soup, so that it's edible, and it's very good. But so things like that are kind of how I chose the movies, and then paired them with what meals that go with them.
I like that. I like that. Which
Yeah.
one would you say was your favorite?
Oh gosh. Going into the book, if we're talking movies, I think The Sweetest Thing might be my favorite chick flick, because it's just raunchy and it's not afraid to go there. Um, but I think my favorite meal that I created for this book is the po' boy from Girls Trip. Yeah, it's like flavors you wouldn't expect to go A in a po' boy and B together. So the way it all comes together just is really was really surprising, and my guinea pigs, I like to call them, the ones that have to come here and test everything and watch all the movies with me. They won't stop raving about that one. So I think that's probably my favorite meal in the book.
Nice. And what would you say was the biggest challenge for you in terms of coming up with the recipes, like test cooking them, stuff like that?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is just to get them right. I mean, I'm sort of a perfectionist. So, but going into the movie, once I figure out what I'm going to make, which is kind of the fun part, right? Like you get to watch the movie and decide, oh, that's a cool scene. I'm going to make that. I'm going to recreate that meal. But then when you have to like actually put all this together and and make it so that people are going to like it, the hardest part is just really making sure that recipe is good to go. I think um, I've made these things 3, 4, 5 times just to make sure all the right spices are in there that represent the movie and the meal itself, that complement everything, and so I think that is probably the hardest part, just getting it right.
And what's one movie that you wanted to include that you didn't, but you might include in something else? And what was the recipe that went along with it?
That's a good question. I had just done a book signing in LA, and somebody came over asking me if Notting Hill was in the book. Notting Hill was in the book, but I had to take it out because I had just too many recipes in there at that point. So Notting Hill was one of my favorite recipes, and I can't remember specifically what I did, but it was inspired by the peach apricot maybe that they had in their fridge. It just was like crazy to me because there was almost nothing in their fridge except this like apricot. So I wanted to do something that had that in it. Um, so I would say when the Ultimate Chick Flick Cookbook Volume 2 comes around, Notting Hill will make its way back in there.
Nice, nice. Now, were you always a cook, or did you go to school for it, or is it just like a hobby that you had?
Yeah, so I always loved cooking. I'm you know as they say, actors and directors, everybody going into the entertainment field has to get a job either catering or doing something like that, working in a restaurant. So I worked in a lot of restaurants and a lot of kitchens and did a lot of catering. And I just grew up around it and I've always loved it. And my family, big cookers. I'm from an Italian family. So cooking with them every Sunday was a big thing in my family. And so I just sort of had a knack for it. And then when I moved to New York, I thought, okay, maybe I want to pursue this further. So I took some cooking classes in New York City and decided I didn't want to pursue this further because if I did, it would take all the fun out of cooking. And I didn't want that to happen. So I sort of put the idea of having my own food truck or something like that on the back burner for a while. And then this came along where I could host these movie nights and bring in my love of cooking and my knowledge of cooking and my love of film and my knowledge of film and combine it all and it sort of worked out really well for me to be able to express myself through the cooking and the films combined.
Be your dream cookbook to have? I know you have your horror movie, part one of the chick flicks, and I know you mentioned part two coming out eventually. So it would be your dream one to have.
What would be my dream one to create?
Yeah.
Oh, see, um, I would love to create a cookbook based around, and you're going to be like, who probably, but I would love to create a cookbook based around Nev Campbell movies and television shows. Scream is my
Nice.
favorite movie. I love her to pieces. She has been one of my film crushes since I can even remember. So like having all of her, like Three to Tango is in there, Scream and Scream 2 are in my horror one. If I could combine all of that and add all my other favorite Nev Campbell movies and television shows and create a cookbook around that, that would be great. But I don't know if that would be of interest to many other people than me.
Buy it. I'll buy it. And I bet you if you ask nicely, maybe she'll even write the foreword for it. Just be
Oh
like,
my
hey,
God.
we're putting that into the universe. That's why I have my universe thing out here. So we could put it into the universe that she could write the foreword or maybe even share some of her favorite recipes to
Let's
help.
do that. I'm gonna DM her on Instagram.
Slide into the DMs, you know? You never
Slide
know.
right in.
I love it. I love it. Like I said, I'm a cookbook author too, so this is like a dream to talk about, and mine is pop culture as well. So this is amazing that we're just bouncing ideas off each other. I
I
absolutely,
love it.
and actually, you're gonna laugh. The one I'm writing now, we actually had the same exact idea, so now I have to change mine. The Romeo and
Oh, which
Michelle
one?
one. The Romeo
Oh,
and Michelle
really?
one. Yeah, so I'm
Oh, that's
changing
what. Yeah,
mine, I
but
promise.
you can still use the same idea. I'm sure it'll be a
Yeah,
different
it's a different,
recipe.
yeah, it's a totally different recipe, but I was like, ah, great minds, a businesswoman special. You
Yeah,
can't
I
have
think
chick
that's.
flick without it.
I know, right? That was like one of the first ones I knew had to go in there. So.
Same actually for my second one. Now, as an aside, you have the gorgeous pictures that you draw. Did you draw those when you have like the recipe name or the movie name where it looks almost like a videotape?
Yeah, I created that. Yeah, the videotape idea. Yeah, and it's supposed to be like the little label, written in marker for each title. Kind of what mine used to look like when I was a kid.
I like that. I like that. And you do that all in Photoshop or you drew that by hand? How'd you do that?
I use Canva to do my video, my pictures and stuff like that. So Canva, I used some of. I think some of the images were just free to use right on Canva. So I highly recommend them if you're looking to
I am going
switch
to
to it.
say that. I'm going to use that.
Yeah,
I've heard of them. I heard good things. I'm going to steal that. Not your work,
yeah,
but an idea to make my own. I like that.
absolutely. Go for it.
Yeah. So, what kind of guess people I interviews? Tell me a fun fact about yourself.
Fun fact about me. um, well, I actually have been in rom-coms that have had wide releases. My favorite one that I got to do was Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
that one actually got me my SAG card. I didn't have like a big role or anything. I did have a featured scene at the concert that they went to in the beginning. But so yeah, so I've actually
Wow.
been in wrong. I've been in Confessions of a Shopaholic. Oh my goodness, something with I so many that like I'm just sort of wandering around in there. But I think that's kind of fun that I get to that I've had like firsthand knowledge of being on these sets and seeing the outcome maybe end up in the book.
Nice. You could write a cookbook based on all the movies and shows that you did.
Listen, some of them I don't think people need to see, but
Nice. And since we are a TV website as well, what are you watching these days?
I just started that new show, The Four Seasons
Yes, it's on my
on
list.
Netflix. Yeah, it's actually really well done. I love the concept of just seeing them through their vacations, and it's a lot of the adult relationship shows kind of have the adults acting like children. And this one is like a really mature adult show, like adults acting the way adults probably would in real life. So I really like that about this show. It's fun.
Nice. Anything else or?
Oh my gosh. What did we finish that we loved? Nobody Wants This. Did you watch that?
Okay, yeah, no, I haven't.
Oh my God. So funny. So well done. Kristen Bell is a treasure. What else have we been watching? Um, Breeze Through Something. Oh, The Pit.
That's
Have you
so
watched
good,
that?
right?
Yeah, it's really, really good. The acting is outstanding. Um, really well done show. What about you? What have you loved?
I am so into hacks right now. Have you seen that with Jean
Oh,
Smart?
we just started that. We're like 4 episodes in, 5 episodes into the first season, but it's so good.
Yeah, she is a national treasure. She is so good. And Will Trent, I like. That one was another good one. And
I
High
can't get into
Potential.
that. Oh my gosh, High Potential. Yes, I can't get into Will Trent, but High Potential is my jam. I love her so much.
I do too. And the way they ended it, I don't know if you saw the season finale, the minute they ended it, when they said what happened, I'm like, and
I
then
was
like
like,
it
"Can
goes
you
to try
leave?
to,
Are you leaving me there? Are you serious?" Yeah, I can't. I
yes.
couldn't believe it. Yeah, I'm very
Yeah, it
excited
screamed
for the
so
next
loud.
season. I
Me too.
know.
Me too. Yeah, and did you know a little bit of trivia for you? James Roday Rodriguez, who was in Psych, is actually directs a lot of the episodes.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
I didn't know
that's
that.
amazing.
I didn't know that. I have friends that worked with him on one of his horror films. He's apparently really nice.
He's amazing. And speaking of
He's so good.
horror, yeah, speaking of horror, if you like horror, my brother has a fantastic horror movie podcast called B Movie Bros.
Okay, I will check that out. I'm always looking for new podcasts. I work outside, so I just pop in my headphones and listen to podcasts all day.
Yeah, you'll love it. And you might even get ideas if you want to make another horror movie cookbook from there.
Oh yeah, there will be a volume two, and it's ready to go. I've done all the nights. It's gonna have more movies than the first one. You know, as they say, up the ante for the sequel, right? So that's what I'm gonna
Exactly. Yeah.
do.
Nice. Yeah. So you did fantastic. I'm so proud of you. I can't wait to start cooking
Oh,
these recipes. I love to cook, so I'm gonna do the whole Julie and Julia thing where I cook all the recipes in your cookbook.
oh, I love that. I'm no
Yeah.
Julia Child, but yeah. And I thought about putting that one in there too, and I was like, I'm not gonna touch that.
Yeah, that would be something though. Julie, I loved that movie. Amy Adams was fantastic in that.
Oh, so good. Yeah, I love that movie too.
I feel like we should collaborate and do a project together one day on this.
Let's do it. I'm always
Yes,
up for
it's
that.
down.
I love that.
Yeah, right. All right, I'm in. And I gotta say, it's been such a pleasure speaking to you. You're amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure speaking with you as well.
Thank you. And I will write a review of your cookbook. It's actually going on my favorite things cookbook list, my favorite things part of my website. And I'm also going to put it in one of my holiday guides as well.
Oh, that's very sweet of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and thank you again.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.